Of rugby, and the person who's likely to take over Coetzee's job is Rassie Erasmus. Well, he's been hard at work behind the scenes anyway. Erasmus is upbeat about the South African rugby at all levels and says the Boks will be ready to face England this in a 3-match test series in June, and that there is enough time for the Boks to be serious contenders. This, of course, the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan.
Erasmus was at the Stellenbosch Academy of Sport on Thursday evening for the National Academy intake, with several Springbok players also in attendance. It was the first time Erasmus had interacted with the media since he returned from his 18-month stint in Ireland and since he rejoined SA Rugby at the end of last year.
Ireland's been great to me. The people were awesome. I learned a lot there. People taught me a lot of things there. I think I've grown as a coach there. We've grown as a family tighter there, certainly, because there's some challenging times when you're alone there in Ireland. But it's wonderful to be back, and I'm proud to be involved with SA Rugby again, obviously.
The question on everyone's lips was what Erasmus' role would be at SA Rugby and if it included coaching the Springboks.
Look, before I went, I was the general manager of the rugby department, and that basically entailed all the teams up until the Springboks. So, SA schools, junior Springboks, sevens, women's rugby. A lot of the planning around the World Cup in Japan is in place. But obviously, when you prioritize this currently, the Springboks will take priority.
The Boks have experienced pain and suffering under the tenureship of Coetzee, but Erasmus says although it's been sad and bad, good things can come out of it if lessons are learnt and remedies applied.
Although we don't like losing, we're a very proud country. Sometimes that helps you actually now to get a little of plans in place and start actioning things that always were underlying problems, but then you go and you beat Australia and you think everything is all right. So it's sad and it's bad, but also on the other hand, we have to now get our act together and turn those results around.
The Boks' first action in 2018 will be against the power-packed Eddie Jones England team in June. The 35 times capped Springbok says he's been hard at work planning for that series and that the Boks will be ready.
It's going to be tough. England is now number 2 in the world. They've got a great coach. They're on a great run. There's going to be a hell of a challenge. But we're busy with our planning. We're working really hard behind the scenes. So, we're in with a big chance in those games because we've got a great player pool and 4 great Super Rugby coaches and 2 great Pro 14 coaches.
Erasmus, who had a successful time at Munster, where they won 21 out of 26 matches, says planning has already started for the World Cup that is almost 600 days away, and that overseas Boks who can contribute have been identified.
9 or 10 or 7 or 8 players that can still play for us at World Cup level, perform, help us beat the All Blacks in England. Those are the players you don't want to lose. So I think we'll have a plan in place and we'll try and overcome that problem.
It's not all doom and gloom, according to an upbeat Rassie Erasmus, an attitude and tonic which South African rugby fans can certainly do with. Craig Murray, SABC News, Stellenbosch.
Thank you indeed there, Craig. Well, that's the topic we'll be having tonight on Sports on Prime. All things Alistair Coetzee and, of course, him departing SA Rugby. So do join us 20:30 Central African time. Well, I'll see you again a bit later, 19:45 for more sports. But for now, main desk, Peter and Francis.
Yeah, before you disappear, I mean, why there was so much jubilation and excitement when he was appointed.
Yeah.
He had such a wonderful track record. Peter de Villiers says that he was going to get fired.
At franchise level, good track record. When you mingle with the big boys at national level, but the question is, as you heard in that package earlier, there's a lot behind it. He couldn't choose his own backroom staff. He was, well, a lot of people saying was set up to fail. He did let loose during the week a letter to SA Rugby, which we'll try and discuss a bit later on. So it's really jam-packed.
And Peter de Villiers called it. He said that he's not going to survive.
It happened to me. What would we think it happens to Alistair Coetzee? The way SARA have gone about it, I think that's the question that a lot of people have at home, is how do they bring in Rassie Erasmus as a director of rugby? Okay. Obviously, it was a way to let go of Alistair Coetzee. He was never going to take it.
Sure, poison chalice, almost like being... no, I won't say it. Okay.
I was thinking of hot seats. The soccer coach, the rugby coach in South Africa, always very hot.
I was going to say something political, but perhaps not.
All right, that's where we leave it. We'll be back, if you can stay with us, on DSTV 404 with all your Biz Prime news in the next half hour.